What's up, everybody? I hope y'all are having a wonderful day. I'm Anthony. On today's video, I'm going to go ahead and say the elephant in the room. We are in a recession. Even though those in DC don't want to admit it, yes, we are technically in a textbook recession. So I'm going to go ahead and do a video on the 10 things, 10 items, 10 things you see every single day that you no longer have to waste money on, because these things I've cut from my budget, and maybe by talking about them on video, you might cut them from your budget too. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so like I said in the intro, we are technically in a recession. All right, recession is basically 2 quarters of declining GDP. We hit that, so I don't care what they're saying in the government right now. Oh, we're not in because of the unemployment rate or whatever, blah, blah, blah. No, they're just moving the goalposts like they always do. So I want to make sure that we are all on the same page, because everybody's going to start tightening their belts. If they haven't already, they are going to quickly. We're already seeing a whole bunch of companies that are freezing hiring or doing layoffs. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to take the money that you currently have and make it go farther, stretch it to make it last a little bit longer. I know that's hard to do with inflation, so maybe this list will be able to help you do just that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with number 1. Number 1 is going to be one of my absolute least favorite things in the entire world, and that is going to be obviously bottled water. I'm going to try to not get on my soapbox when I'm talking about this, but bottled water is literally one of the most annoying things that has ever been created, in my personal opinion. Essentially, what these companies have done is they've used marketing and corporate schemes to make you think and believe that bottled water is somehow cleaner or safer than your regular tap water. Now, unless you live in places like Flint, Michigan, there's a really good chance that your tap water is as clean, if not cleaner, than the crap you may buy in a store. Now, don't get me wrong. I know certain brands like Voss and all of them high-end brands are actual good quality water, but if you're buying things like the Nestle water, Dasani, that stuff is literally just tap water. All right, and in Dasani's case, it's filtered tap water. They remove all the minerals and then put them back in, which means that they can justify their price of almost the exact same amount of money as a Coke. That's kind of the thing. Dasani uses the exact same water they make in their Coke, and they sell it just as water. So then that somehow justifies the price. Just go ahead and go in the store right now and look. The price of Dasani and the price of Coca-Cola side by side is what, 20 cents different? That doesn't make any sense to me, but they've somehow convinced every single person in the American public, you know what, bottled water is good. No, it's not. If you want to make sure you have good, clean water with you all the time, fill it up at home, bring it with you in a big bottle that you can carry around, single wall, double wall, stainless steel, doesn't matter. I use stainless steel because it does not encourage bacterial growth, and then carry it with you all day. If you have to refill it, then so be it. I guarantee you, you're going to find a store with a water fountain. They still have them, a relic from olden times, I know, but there are still water fountains everywhere for free. Go ahead and fill it up there. If you are concerned about having filtered water, they make Brita little filters that you can put inside your water bottle and fill it that way. Not a big deal. They don't cost very much, but you can use those, fill up your water, carry it with you. Congratulations. No more spending money on bottled water. That brings me to number 2. Number 2 being a twofer. Fabric softener and dryer sheets. Now listen to me, if you still use this stuff, you really need to open up a separate window and search what it's actually doing to your appliances, because I guarantee you, if you are using fabric softener or dryer sheets now, you are prematurely wearing out your appliances for no reason. Because fabric softener, maybe back in the day we kind of needed it because we used a lot of wool, but there's a whole bunch of blends now, and a lot of people are wearing cotton, to where they're already soft enough, and as long as you're washing them on the proper settings, you really don't have any issues with hardcore fabrics coming out of the washing machine. So I personally think that it is an outdated technology. We don't need it anymore. If you just go ahead and look at what is actually depositing at the bottom of your washer drum, I guarantee you'll stop using it today. But if you look at dryer sheets, same thing. I don't use dryer sheets. Some people say, hey, you got to use this to stop static cling. If that's the case, then go to Walmart right now and buy 2 of those little wool balls that you can get for like $1.50, and throw one of those wool balls in with your clothes in the dryer. I guarantee when they come out, you're not going to have any static problems, and you can keep reusing that ball over and over again. So that's 2 more things that you don't have to worry about wasting money on your budget today. Number 3, lottery tickets. Lottery tickets are basically a game for the poor people. That's why they call it a poor people tax, because rich people don't waste money on things that are obvious scams. Now, I know certain tickets, like $10 tickets, are what, 1 in 3 chance of maybe winning your money back. Hey, it might give you something to do, but you have a 1 in 3 chance of winning. So it means that 2 of those times, you're going to lose your $10. So in reality, I think that if you waste money on the lottery, you need to understand that you are just wasting money, that you are literally just taking your money to the gas station or wherever you may buy your lottery tickets and setting it on fire, because ultimately that's what you're doing. You can take a month's worth of lottery tickets or a month's worth of playing, if you happen to be one of those people that plays every single day, and you could write down the times that you lose and the times that you win. And I guarantee you, by the end of the month, you're going to be in the negative. If you happen to be in the positive, it will be a freak accident. And I guarantee you the next month, you will lose what you won plus some. So it's just one of those things where if you are wasting money in the lottery, you have to understand what you're doing. You're essentially setting money on fire. So stop playing the lottery. You're not going to win. Think about other ways to use that money that's going to benefit you, getting out of debt, putting them into investments. It'll be a much better return on investment than playing the lottery. Cool. Number 4, vending machines. Stop spending money on vending machines. What does a vending machine really do? It offers you a chance to buy something at an extreme markup price because you didn't have enough foresight to bring it with you in the first place. So yeah, I get it. If you happen to have to run to the emergency room, you didn't plan on this kind of stuff, and you're starving and you have no choice but to eat a vending machine, I get that. I really do. But if you're going somewhere like school, to work, whatever, and you are not pre-planning a meal or a drink, then you got something wrong with you. This is a preparedness channel. We talk about being prepared basically about your entire life. So that includes going to work, going to the office, going anywhere that may have a vending machine. If you are not having enough foresight to pack a lunch, pack a drink, then you might need to check with yourself and be like, why am I wasting money on crap and vending machines that cost 3 times as much as it does at the grocery store? That's beyond me. So stop doing that today. Okay, so number 5. Pre-cut, pre-sliced vegetables, fruits, whatever. Yes, this is a thing. For some reason in my stores especially, I'm finding it, if you look on the shelf in the produce section, you're going to see the whole fruit or vegetable, and then right next to it you'll see a sliced version of that fruit or vegetable. Most likely they're going to be the exact same weights. Look at these pictures right here. I took these pictures yesterday at Walmart. What you're seeing is 16 ounces of mushrooms and 16 ounces of mushrooms, but one of them is sliced and one of them isn't. Explain that to me. But you're spending more money on slice. Are you really that lazy that you're going to pay somebody 10, 20 cents more to slice up your mushrooms for you? Or can you take a cutting board out and do it yourself? It's things like that that is what makes people lose money, because they're not paying attention to the small details. Same thing happens when you're buying things like watermelon. You're probably going to go to the store, whatever grocery store, and buy watermelon in a case about this big, when essentially that's all it is a quarter of a watermelon. And you're going to spend more money on that than you would a whole watermelon. When you do things like this, I know it may not seem like a lot, but it adds up a lot over time. So if you can just cut the habits of doing that right now, then it's only going to benefit you in the long run. Number 6, subscription boxes and magazines. I say this because I was one of these people as well. I used to buy the subscription boxes. I was subscribed to Tac Pack and Battle Box, and I can tell you point blank now that I was wasting my money. What I was doing was I was buying these things in hopes that eventually I would use everything I'd get in these boxes. But in reality, I maybe only used 1 or 2 things out of each box, and the rest of the stuff went to the just in case I need it pile. All right, there's really no need to be wasting $40, $50, $100 on some of these boxes if you're only going to use 1 or 2 items. What you really should be doing is you should be watching review videos, or when they actually, the unboxing videos, and seeing what you like out of there, and just buying that one product, because you'll be able to save yourself a whole bunch of money instead of buying the whole thing and getting just the one product you may be using, period. All right, now I know a lot of people like to do unboxing videos, and that's how they make their money here on YouTube. By all means, if that's the reason why you're buying these boxes, and so be it. But for most of us, it's just a huge money suck. Why would you do that? Now, the same thing applies to magazines. I know for a fact for a long time I was subscribed to magazines like Hobby Farms, The New Pioneer, Modern Pioneer, that kind of thing, The Backwoodsman. I did a lot of these magazine subscriptions because a lot of the stuff that they were talking about in there was interesting to me. Well, what I realized over the course of about 2 years was they all kind of recycle ideas back and forth. So I was starting to get magazines where I literally knew everything that was in there. Maybe it's just a part of the experience for me, but what I should have been doing was I should have just been going to the bookstore once a month or the grocery store, popping open these magazines and seeing if something in there applies to me. For the most part, 99% of the time, nothing in there applies to me, nothing in there interests me. And as a matter of fact, there was one of them I did, it was like Hobby Farms, and they were talking about baking bread, and it was a very inexperienced way to make bread. So in reality, the editors don't even check to see if the stuff really works. It's kind of just something to fill in pages. So I don't waste my money anymore, and you shouldn't either. Okay, so number 7, everybody knows about it. Half the people have already done something about it. Other half are still being like, well, I kind of might need it. Well, go ahead and cut the cord now. Cable. Stop paying for cable. There is no reason to be wasting hundreds of dollars a month on programming, because that's all it is programming, that you only watch 2 or 3 channels of anyway. So go ahead and cut the cord now. There's no point in keeping it. You can go and buy a Roku from Walmart for, what, 40 bucks a month, or I'm sorry, 40 bucks outright. Plug in the back of your TV and subscribe to the channels you may want or don't want. I know certain things on Roku are free because the Roku channel is free, and so is the Tubi channel. That's free as well. So there's really no reason to sit there and pay for hundreds of dollars in programming that you don't watch anyway. All right. For me, I know I was guilty because I didn't want to cut the cord because I like seeing, you know, sporting events and Discovery Channel, Food Network, that kind of thing. Well, guess what I can do? I can now stream just the Discovery Network, which costs me a couple bucks a month. And now the NFL is even having their own streaming platform. So there's no reason for me to even buy cable anymore because everything's going streaming. So do yourself a favor, cut the cord now, and stream the only options you actually do watch. Number 8, fees. More specifically, fees from your own bank. Now, I hate banks. There are several reasons why I do not like banks. Banks, in my opinion, are one of those small but necessary evils that you have to have in today's day and age. But you do not need to play the game of having yourself feed to death just because you're using a bank. There is way too much competition these days to still be sitting there and paying somebody just for the privilege of having a checking account. Yes, there are still banks that charge people a minimum balance, or they charge you a fee to have a checking account with them. That is unacceptable. If you are having somebody charge you money just to hold your money, you need to go look somewhere else. That is stupid. Same thing when it comes to credit cards. If you have something like an American Express card that charges you $500 as an annual fee just for the privilege of being a customer, you might need to rethink your priorities and rethink your life and say, you know what? These credit card points are not worth the $500 fee. There are many other credit cards out there that do not charge you an annual fee and will probably give you a better interest rate if you just do business with them instead. You can go ahead and probably do a free balance transfer or a 0% balance transfer for 12 months if you just ask them about it. So do a little bit of research and find out why you're wasting money. And one of the biggest culprits is ATM fees. People still go to an ATM, waste their money on a fee, $2, $3 at a time, just to get cash out of their own account, because they went to some other bank's institution or some other banking ATM. All you need to do is you need to go to somewhere like Walmart, grocery store, whatever, and get cash back, and I guarantee you, you'll be just fine. You do not need to keep using ATMs, and you do not need to be giving them free money just for the privilege of accessing your account. That's dumb. So that's why I had to make it as my number 8. Okay, so number 9. This is going to be something simple, but for some reason people still do it. Drinks anywhere. My wife does this. It drives me absolutely insane. When we go out to eat, say I happen to be on a date night or whatever, she still finds it necessary to buy a Coke or a soda and a water. The water's free, the soda's not. And where do you think a lot of these companies, a lot of these restaurants make most of their money? By selling you a carbonated beverage, all right? They'll sit there and have the audacity to sit there and charge you $2.99 for a drink you might get one refill on, when in reality it only cost them 15 cents in syrup. It is absolutely not worth it. Stop wasting money on getting drinks when you go out. If you feel the necessary need to go and have an adult beverage, there are things like flasks that you can put in your pocket and go ahead and buy yourself a soda and put your little Jack Daniels or whatever you may want to in there. Make your own cocktail when someone's got their back turned, and congratulations, you are saving yourself literally tons of money a year if you do this. So for me, when I go out, I get nothing but water because it's free. If someone charged me for water, I would not shop there. Most places say, hey, I'm just getting a water cup. They'll give you a cup for water. Boom, go to the fountain station, press a little water tab, and congratulations, you are drinking for free. No sense in wasting money on that stuff. All right, so that brings me to number 10. This one's probably going to piss off almost everybody watching this video, but I think it needs to be said because we have to come to the right term here as to what we're actually doing. And this one's going to apply directly to the prepping community. Personally, I think that mylar and putting things away in mylar is a humongous waste of time and money, period. There are several reasons for that, which I'm going to go over with now. Number 1, mylar is meant to put something in that is already under 10% moisture. You're putting it in with an oxygen absorber so you can store it for very long term. I'm saying 10, 15, 20 years, all right, without very much food degradation. The problem is, unless you have a system set up already now of a good rotational supply, then you're just basically spending money on something, putting it away, and then taking up space in a corner somewhere. That's all you're really doing. All right, so unless you have 3 months, 6 months, 1 year taken care of already, by putting food away in a long-term food storage solution like a mylar, all you're doing is saying if something does happen, like a hurricane or earthquake or something, you're gonna be ripping that thing open anyway. So what's the point? Like, here's my thought process. If you don't have a year's worth of supply of food already that you're working through in a working pantry, then you have no business worrying about putting something in mylar. Point blank. Other solutions exist for a reason, all right? Putting things away and, freezing them, canning them, pressure canning and water bath canning are much better solutions that you can keep redoing without spending a whole bunch of money. Now, I know mylar isn't hardcore expensive, but oxygen absorbers can get kind of pricey. Not to mention the fact that in today's world, there's a humongous run on them, so people are spending way more money than they should be on these products. So in my opinion, if you're going out there and you're putting things away for 10, 20, 25 years, hoping that they're going to still be there when you need them, you're basically just not understanding the laws of probability. There's a much better chance of you needing to rip into that food in the near term versus in the 10, 20, 25 year term, okay? Point blank. So if you have a proper working pantry, if you happen to run across a smaller scale issue, like a natural disaster or something, maybe even your own little favorite SHTF scenario, things are probably gonna right itself by that point you run out of that 1 year, 2 year food rotation anyway. So there's no need to go and spend a whole bunch of money on mylar, right? What I'm seeing a lot of is a whole bunch of new people who are jumping into the whole preparedness thing because of COVID. They're jumping into the preparedness side and they're like, oh, I need to put everything into mylar because that makes me a real prepper. When in reality, that's not how it works at all. If you don't have a proper rotation set up now, mylar is not going to save you because you are focused on stashing food or stashing things away without focus on a resupply. So in reality, all you're doing is you're giving yourself a finite amount of time to survive because you haven't figured out the skills, knowledge required to source things in other ways besides what you stashed away like a squirrel. All right, so I know I'm gonna get a lot of pushback on this one. People say, oh, well, mylar is so amazing and good. It's good if you are at a certain level, but unless you are what I would consider an expert level prepper, then you have no business fiddling with mylar and all you're doing is wasting your money. So that's why I wanted to go ahead and mention it as my number 10. All right, so I know that last one's probably gonna get those fingers going, but hey, these are the 10 things that I think a lot of people waste their money on. I know I used to waste my money on them, and that's why I wanted to do a video telling y'all to not do the same mistakes I did, because I've done literally every single one of these, including mylar, and in reality, I haven't used it, and the times that I've had to bust into it was way earlier than 15 years, so there's no point in putting it in mylar anyway. So that's why I wanted to put that in my list. If you agree, disagree, whatever, please do me a humongous favor and type it down in the comment section. Keep it respectful, because if it's not respectful, I'm just gonna go ahead and delete it anyway, because I don't care. But if you like this video at all, please do me a humongous favor and give me a thumbs up. It absolutely helps me out, and I would very much appreciate it. Subscribe, and I'll catch y'all later, okay? Bye.